act like I've been here before. Second time it's all a go. Making money, fucking hold on, let me get up in my zone. I hit the road, we doing shows. All that lake show, all go. Trinidad, I tell you, bro, sat behind the wheel, we get ghosts. Doing 150 on the highway. Should've saw their face when we got laid. True story, they say we got it. As we pull up, man, I pop about the Maserati.
What's going on, everybody? AJ with Opulent Public Relations and Event Management. We're here today with recording artist Ace Mitch. Of course, you know, this will be on the Opulent Living Off Top blog. Make sure you tune in. And we're off.
Good afternoon, Ace Mitch.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today and give us a little background. Tell the people who you are and how you came to right now. Just give us a brief.
I mean, basically, I moved to Dallas. I moved to Dallas about like 6-7 years ago. When I came out here, I didn't know anybody. I didn't even have an apartment when I came out here. I came out here just to do music. You know what I'm saying? So came out here. Was like, man, I had my homie Picnic. He told me one time, he was like, if you wanna do music, Dallas is what's next. You know what I'm saying? This is before everything like came out in Dallas and Dallas got really, really hot. So I was like, all right. So I saved up $500. You know, put everything in my little Honda Accord, hit I-35. I came down here to do my music. I met DJ ASAP before he was DJ ASAP, when he was just ASAP. And you know what I'm saying, we grew close, we became real close friends, and we just grew together through his music, and we've been going ever since.
Where'd you come from?
I was born in Long Beach, California. You know what I'm saying? I was out in Long Beach for a while. You know, and I came out here. My mom moved me away because, you know, didn't want to get in trouble or anything like that. My mom moved me. My mom got married. She moved to Texas, and I went to Abilene for a little while. Abilene is like a small town in West Texas. Went to school out there for a while. Graduated high school. Went to Angelo State for a year or two, and just got to moving around ever since then. Back and forth, went to Cali for a little while. You know, I've never really just called anywhere home. I've always like been somewhere and haven't really lasted there for too long.
So where were you in life when you knew that the music industry was what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I was in high school. Like 14, 15, doing talent shows. My best friend, Luke Sloan, you know, we were a group when I was in high school. And so we're just doing all the talent shows and things like that. And I just knew I just had a craft on. I just wanted to write all the time. Like I used to just write. I used to write I used to have like whole albums. I had like 3 or 4 albums, but nobody would ever hear them. But I just like to write, you know, all day long. And so I did that, and that's when I knew I really liked the music. But it didn't really get serious until I moved to Dallas. I moved to Dallas, and then like once I started really getting into recording, and things started getting a little bigger. And then, you know, like I was saying with Sap, me and Sap really clicked up and started getting it in. That's when things started getting real. That's when I realized that, you know, I could make a career out of it, and I could actually start making money out of it rather than it being a hobby.
Who were your influences?
Honestly, like it was my brother, my older brother. My older brother is who put me on to hip hop. Like, he used to listen to like Public Enemy, Nas, you know, all the good hip hop. And then when he would leave, you know, I'd be sneaking his tapes. You know, I'm not supposed to be listening to that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I used to sneak and listen to his tapes all the time, but I liked what I heard. You know what I'm saying? I was really into hip hop. I really fell in love with hip hop. My favorite artist, obviously, without it being cliche, my favorite artist is Jay-Z. Jay-Z from beginning, like, you know, the Reasonable Doubt all the way into now. Like, I have every Jay album all the way up to now, so it's not like a bandwagon thing where it's just like, oh, you know, like in Jay, like I've been on Jay, because it's just real, like, you know what I'm saying, it's all realistic, you know what I'm saying, you can see his growth, you can see everything that he's been doing, you know what I'm saying.
That's a good influence. So when you have somebody like Jay that you've been a fan of from the beginning, and you follow him, how would you describe your hustle with the blueprint, so to speak, without sounding cliche, that he's like? How would you describe your hustle in relation to that?
Well, for going from nothing to something, you know what I mean. And through Jay, I've also became a big fan of Kanye. And Kanye, like myself, is a Gemini. I mean, hell, me and Kanye have the same birthday. So like Kanye he's a perfect example of going from nothing to something. I remember he got the car wreck and his face was all shattered and everything, and you know his jaw was broken, and you think he would never rap again. It's like myself, you know, things happened to me. You know, I was in a coma for 5 days, and I ended up getting out of that coma. I had to learn how to walk again, do all kind of stuff, and I bounced back. I bounced back from something, from nothing to something. You know what I'm saying? Just like what Jay did. Jay went from hustling on the corner until he was selling drugs or whatever he was doing, and then like he took that and he took his hustle there and applied his hustle to his music. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I guess I relate to Jay with that, because I went from working at a shoe store to getting in the streets and hustling, and I took my hustle from getting in the streets and hustling and applied that to my music, and now I'm non-stop. And now, you know, people always say, man, you work so hard, but I mean, that's the only way you're gonna win is if you work. You know what I'm saying? I've seen artists, man, that just they had it, man, but they didn't want to work hard enough, and that'll never be me.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So, has there ever been a time through this journey when you said, this isn't for me?
No, never. Even when I couldn't rap, when I was going through things where getting over a brain injury. Yeah, music is what saved my life, basically. Like being repetitive and things like that. The doctor told me that, you know, is listening to things repetitive and, you know what I'm saying, keep going in and writing music, you know, going through the motions. And so, there was one time I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, well, you know, my mom told him I did music, and he was just like, oh, okay, well, hey, like he kind of basically told me like throw away my music career. Like basically, like, he was just kind of like, well, you know, it'll be hard to get back to doing that, but you know, and then I guess they expected me to bounce back so fast the way I did, but just listening to music over and over again, I had memory loss. So I had verses that I had in my head for so long, and I forgot everything. I forgot all the verses. I forgot all the, you know, all the ways that all my deliveries, everything. I forgot everything. But you know what I'm saying? That's starting from nothing.
Is that what motivates you to stay the course and stay focused and determined as far as your goals in this industry?
I mean, that, but also, I mean, more as far as motivation goes, it's just really just being able to provide for my son more than anything. More than anything in the world, provide for him, you know, and provide for my mom. Like my mom she raised myself and my brother, you know what I'm saying? She's been a single mother all this time, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, my mom never had a job like really, really long time where she could just retire and just be okay and be cool. You know what I mean? Like she's always had to move around. We've always been moving and doing things like that, man. And so I want one day, man, I don't want my mom to have to worry about nothing. Like she's been working hard, man. She made sure that I was the freshest kid in school. She made sure I had all the J's, I had all the gear all the time. You know what I'm saying? And she probably didn't buy herself something so I could have something. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to not pay my mom back for that, but I want to be able to take care of my mother to where she don't have to worry about anything.
So that's your motivation.
Basically. So that's what motivation is. Like that and my son. Like I didn't have my father. I didn't have a father growing up. So since I didn't have a father growing up, I want to take, you know, instead of being mad at that, you know what I'm saying, per se, I would rather take that energy and make it positive. You know what I'm saying? And be able to invest money and invest myself into anything that my son has going on.
What do you think words of advice for those that are coming up in this industry that you'd like to share with them? Because you see how the industry has moved and it grows and it goes. So what you see now, do you have any advice to those that are currently in it?
I mean, yeah, just being persistent. You know what I mean? Being consistent, be persistent, and don't take no for an answer. Like the next person to tell you no, like I know there's a million people that told me no when I first moved here. But you know now they're not telling me no now. You know what I'm saying? They were telling me no at first. I was like, all right, bet you're gonna tell me no, but this person over here is gonna think about it at least. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta always put out good music and then put out the best quality of music. So it's not about quantity, it's quality. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So do things like that, and then go to these clubs and hear what music is, hear what people, you know what I'm saying, people are reacting to, things like that. And with like, you know, with ASAP being a DJ, like I'm always hearing music. I'm hearing what's hot. I'm hearing what's cracking. You know what I'm saying? What's going on in the club? What's big in the club? So I know what's big in the club. And
So it's not all about you spinning just your music?
No, not at all. We're just getting in. We're getting in and we know what's going on in the industry. Like we go to Cali sometimes, and whenever we go to Cali, we was like, damn, like we can realize that the industry was changing from just some trap music. Now it's like, you know what I'm saying, now it's going back to like Cali music, you know what I'm saying, like more hip hop on both sides. So, you know what I'm saying, you gotta be open-minded to everything, man, experimenting with your music and all kinds of stuff.
What do you think are the most important aspects to consider before embarking on a career in this industry? What are some things that people need to consider before they, because you know, sometimes people just jump up and decide I want to be a rapper today.
Well, I mean, you got to be able to have a creative balance. You got to be able to create a balance between, you know, you can't just think that it's just easy and you're just going to make a bunch of money doing rapping. Like there's guys that, those videos that you see, they're not all real. Like a lot of that stuff is rented. Some of those houses are not even those guys' houses. Some of those cars are not even those guys' cars. So you can't expect that. You know what I'm saying? So you always got to have a backup plan. You know what I mean? You always got to have something to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I worked 9 to 5 for I don't know how long. You know what I'm saying? But now we're doing these shows. Now we're getting on the road. We're putting out the albums and doing stuff like that. Now it's, you know, things are changing, but it takes a while. So you got to have patience, and you also got to have backup plan.
How important is a support system of being around?
Man, huge. It's huge. Like the support system I have right now, I'm at my best. I feel like my best. Like I wake up every day feeling like Superman. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a good support system. I remember times when I felt like I had nobody. You know what I mean? And I felt like I was all by myself on this, and that's not the best feeling to have. But now, you know, I have a great PR team. You know, my management stepped up. He's on it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like everybody around me is just like all with it. So I'm good right now.
You're about to put out a world premiere, the first album, and you know, in this series of interviews that we're going to do leading up to that, give me an idea of the difference between putting together a mixtape and putting everything into an actual album, a project.
Well, when I was doing my mixtape, you know, obviously it wasn't all the songs they weren't all original. But with this one, I gotta have so much more like a story to my album. Like it gotta all make sense. Like it can't just be everywhere. Like it kind of gotta okay, like people are vibing with it, but you gotta touch different subjects. But at the same time, you gotta make sure it's all in that pocket. You know what I mean? So like with Drive, with this album, I remember going to actually see the movie Drive, and that's what it's the light went off in my head. Like damn, because the guy, the main character in the movie, he's the most driven man I've ever man, he was driven to like save these people and to to get where he wanted to get, and that's how, and what I'm saying, take that drive. So really, he was a stunt driver, so that's where they got the word drive. So I took the word drive and made it a metaphor for something else. You know what I'm saying? That's motivation, being consistent and things like that, and put that towards my music rather than just driving.
Gotcha. Let's go back to some of your past projects and singles that you had success with. Badass.
Yeah.
Badass. Talk about some
single.
of your past projects.
Well, Badass is my single right now. Codeine. Also, we put Codeine out on Valentine's Day. I never did like a release for like ladies when I did a song. I was actually driving. Man, I just wanted to do something like Houston style. You know what I'm saying? So I called up Keith. And Keith is from, he's from Houston. So he was like, hey, let's do something. That's cool. So I called up Lone Star to see what the homie Lone Star could come up with. He came with the beat. And we went from there. On that. The only other project that I had, I have like 2 mixtapes out that came out a while ago. Like the Who Is A Smith mixtape came out 3 years ago. But that was really, then after that, then I hooked up with DJ Demand from Atlanta to do Dollar and Dream. But Dollar and Dream was just a bunch of music that I had. When I did Who Is A Smith, I recorded. I was in the studio like every single day, so I recorded so many songs. So I took some of those songs and I took some stuff that I had left over and slapped that together for Dollar and Dreams. But this is the first project that I really sat down and actually put something together and make something happen.
What are some of the highlights of your career thus far?
Really, just travel. Just a lot of traveling. Just all the traveling I've done. Doing the show at the House of Blues. Doing the show at Trees. Stuff like that. Really, I got so much more inside of me, so much more going on, there's so much more to come. So I really, as far as highlights go, it's just really just doing the shows, honestly.
You had a few weeks ago with the Urban Underground Music Awards, and they awarded you Best Rapper of the Year.
Yeah.
So, talk about that highlight right there. How does that make an artist feel when they're recognized by their peers for what they're doing?
You know what? It was good. It was good considering that also that it was a voting process, like to get that award. So that means that people actually voted for me, which was, I try to be a humble guy about everything. So I don't just go in and just expecting that I'm gonna just smash on the competition. But for people to vote for me and stuff like that, I'm really appreciative of that, and I think that's really dope. Even though I've been out of the game, I was out of the game for a little while, and I'm just now getting my feet wet back in the game. My single Badass really have done a lot for me. So I guess off the single Badass, the people just automatically knew that it's gonna go down, and I deserve that award. So I was really grateful for it.
Congratulations, 5 nominations.
Yeah, I had 5 nominations at the award show. It was dope. It was real dope. I really appreciate everybody on Seaboard Radio. Shout out. It was really dope.
Any other people you want to shout out for this first segment?
Just really my squad, my manager Calvin, Opulent, I appreciate everything. My PR team is dope. My DJ ASAP, Team ASAP, the whole squad. Keith Jacobs, Luke Sloan, Super Dave, already.
Well, that concludes the first part of Who Is A Smith, the interview. Make sure you guys tune in. Hey Smith, what Twitter information, Facebook, all that to where they can come find you.
Everything's on that website, asmitch.com. It's at Twitter /asmitch, Facebook /asmitch. You know what I mean? Instagram /asmitch. Everything. Keep it gangster.
All right, now that's part 1. Part 2 and 3 coming soon. Y'all tune in. I've been livingoff-top.com.
Yeah, you old trust fund baby, always trying to fuck with Lacey. You ain't never met Molly. You a phony, you a copy. I done bounced back from death.